everybody, welcome to City and County Credit Union's Tip Tuesday. In March, our community has a lot to celebrate, and not just the weather getting warmer, but also the women in our life. And if we think about it, women make the world go round, we're running businesses, we're innovators, we're creators, we're just shaping the future for tomorrow. And I wanted to bring that theme into Tip Tuesday, and I'm honored to introduce you to She Climbs Mountains. Christine is here with us, and we're gonna get to know a little more about her programming, because I'm a firm believer that every female needs a resource. And whether it's a group of women, one person you can talk to, resources in our community are here. And so Christine, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here and tell you about She Climbs Mountains.
And we were having a side conversation before we started this official interview, and your story is right from the heart, and I think that's what's so important for this conversation. And in honor of International Women's Day and Women's Month for March, I just think it's a great time. And so let's dive in. Tell us about yourself and the nonprofit you started.
Yes, I would love to share with you. So my mom, Laura Lee, died in 1990 of ovarian cancer. I was 15 years old and she was 44. One of the most challenging parts of my grieving journey and being so young was that I was so isolated and so alone for so long. I did have the opportunity to find a book when I was 19, so 4 years after my mom died, called Motherless Daughters, and that kind of changed my life, knowing that I wasn't alone, but I still was like searching and deeply desiring community. So many years passed. I went a long time without knowing anyone else who had experienced that same loss. I did know a couple people on the periphery of my life, but no one that I was close to. And then when I was 39 years old, I had the opportunity to start facilitating workshops specifically for motherless mothers. And I did that, and I finally had my community of women that truly understood what it was like to live life without their mothers. And it changed my life in that I think I always thought I was gonna live with this like gaping hole, this fresh wound forever. And as I became closer and connected with this community, I understood that I wasn't alone. And although I still miss my mom dearly, and I do still feel the pain of that loss, it doesn't feel as tender anymore, because I know that there are people I can turn to who truly get me in regards to this very specific experience that I had.
Well, I think there's something about just being connected with others who share that experience, who aren't just somebody who says, I'm sorry, it must be terrible, where they actually know what you're going through and you can talk about. Yes. I really believe that when we can be honest about what we're feeling, whether it's your finances, whether it's a loss, or whatever may happen in your life, I just think it's such a positive way to move forward.
Yes.
And I would love, knowing that this is your baby, your nonprofit baby, what is your mission behind it? What do you see for today, the future? What's your plan?
Yeah, so I think going back to that original statement that I made about feeling so lonely and so isolated, the goal is to provide a safe space so that women know that they're not alone, that they have a community, that they have a sisterhood, and also a space where they can share their stories. People want to share their stories. They want to be heard. They want to tell the very specific details about their mothers, the way they smell, the color of their hair. So, holiday traditions, things like that. But we provide a space where people can do that without judgment, or like, why are you still talking about this? And it's been, for example, for me, 33 years, well, because it's still something I'm carrying with me.
Absolutely.
And being in that community where you're like allowed to say it without judgment is such a gift. And then I think also that when we're grieving, it can, especially in the early parts of grief, we can feel like, I'm never going to feel joy again. I'm never going to feel happiness again. And I think that our community is a place where we allow women to come as they are, and also help them understand that you can get to a place of feeling both again. You can feel
Yes.
grief and also joy. It's not either or, it can be both and. So
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. And if I experienced a loss of my, my mother, how can I get involved and what does that look like?
yeah, well, I would love to tell you about our programming for girls too, because there's an opportunity for women to be involved in multiple ways. So there's programming for women where we have workshops that we offer twice yearly.
Okay.
They're 5 weeks long. There are 3 types: motherless mothers, early mother loss, and just a general motherless daughters workshop. We also have monthly gatherings. So many monthly gatherings. New this year, we have one specific for mother loss by suicide, one for mother loss from alcoholism, an early mother loss, motherless mothers. We also have a coffee and conversation. All of these are virtual right now, but I think we're really close to being out of our COVID virtual only space. And before COVID, we were largely in person. So that's the goal here shortly, to return mostly in person actually. And then we also have a young adult meetup for women that are 19 to
Love
29. Because we've learned that that's a very specific time of life to navigate without your mom. And then we do annual gatherings. We have a Mother's Day brunch for women that is always the Saturday before Mother's Day. We have a holiday gathering that we do right after Thanksgiving, before the winter holidays. And what else do I want to share? This year, we're also doing a fundraising event on April 15th, where we're doing a stadium climb. So we're bringing
fun.
the community together, and it's for everyone, family friendly. We're gonna have activities and music, an amazing DJ, live artists singing, and we're gonna be at CHS Field. So we plotted a course for people to climb up and down the stadium, and in honor of mothers or those that they know who have experienced loss. And then, of course, I'd love to share with you about Girls Rise Up, our programming for girls. Is that
Absolutely.
okay? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so when we launched the nonprofit in 2017, the goal was, we were already serving women. So the goal was to also expand to serve girls. And so now we do.
That's incredible.
And so in 2019, in November, right before the pandemic, but we've still had success in growing, we launched Girls Rise Up. So we serve girls ages 8 to 18 who have experienced the loss of their mom. We have 2 aspects of the programming where we match adult motherless daughters with the girls through our partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters Twin Cities.
Incredible.
Yeah, they're amazing. I mean, they're
an outstanding community
yes,
partner.
they're the
Yeah.
best of the best in mentorship. So I mean, how lucky are we to partner with them? And then we also do almost monthly gatherings. So this year we'll have 10 gatherings for the girls, and really in the same vein of our desire to build community for women. That's what we want for the girls, so that, you know, like someone like me who waited 24 years to find a community, these girls have a community now, maybe months after they experienced their loss. Some of them a couple years, but the difference in decades
Absolutely.
matters. Knowing that you have other people in your life that have this shared experience, and you can connect and share safely with them. I've seen the healing power of it. It's pretty emotional, and it's pretty amazing.
So tell me, if I wanted to get involved, and
Yes.
I was a little nervous.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I'm like, do I really want to go? Do I want to log in? Like, am I ready?
Yes, that's a
What
great
would you recommend to that person?
Yeah. That's such a good question. We have so many people that feel that way. So many people. I cannot even tell you how many people have said that to me. And then after they're with us for a gathering or an event, they tell me how grateful they are that they just did it. So, I guess that's digging into the deepest place of yourself and saying, I know I can do this, and also trusting. I've said this so many times, that I think the community is probably the most loving and accepting group of women I have ever met in my life.
Oh,
So we will meet you where you are at. So if you don't want to talk about it, that's totally fine. Just be with us. Or if you want to share and spill your guts entirely, please do that too. You know, we're ready to meet you where you're at. And I really believe, you know, you're gonna trust yourself and know yourself well enough that you'll allow yourself to open up in the time that is right for you, and we're here for that. So and as far as getting involved, it's like simple click of, you know, signing up online. So that
Easy,
part
taking
is
the first
easy.
step.
That part is easy. I also do have people though that email me and ask to talk beforehand, and I'm happy to do that. I've done that many times to ease fears or whatever. And again, you know, even if you show up and you don't want to share, that's okay. That's okay.
And it's all who you surround yourself with. And I bet even just from watching this video, you can tell that Christine's heart is exactly the work that she does. And if I'm looking for resources, and maybe I'm not ready to take that full step, but I'm just looking for some resources of how to get myself through this, where do I go?
Yeah, we have so many partners. It's pretty amazing. I'll say on our website we have a resource page of local support, so you can start there. But I mean, just to name a few, the Center for Grief and Loss in St. Paul, Brighter Days Grief Center in Eden Prairie, they're amazing resources. And that resource in particular actually can help with just the basics of after losing someone, like the logistics of navigating an estate, or things like that are more basic that sometimes we forget about for people that are grieving, that it can really detract from the grieving process when you have to face all these basic things.
Well, logistics, and your brain isn't ready for that.
Totally. So they're an amazing resource too. And then, you know, even just finding a therapist that you can do one-on-one conversation with, I think is so valuable and important.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And to wrap this up, where do I go to find you?
Yeah.
Where do I end up?
Yeah. So sheclimbsmountains.org is our website. My email is Christine with a CH at sheclimbsmountains.org. We on our website have a place where you can connect and you can indicate interest to volunteer, or if you want more information, there's an online form you can fill out, or you can just come directly to me. And again, I'm just happy to talk with people about what we're doing, and we're always ready to welcome new faces and people into our community and our sisterhood. So
Christina, I just can't thank you enough for sharing your story with us. And
thank you.
You know, for people watching, I really encourage you to take a second, check in with yourself, and if you are experiencing grief, I want you to really look for this great resource, because she's here in the community, the Twin Cities local. And with that, you guys, we will see you on our next Tip Tuesday. Have a wonderful March.